All right, a mixed number is a number composed of a whole number and a fraction. So I gave you guys an example, 3 1/4. The 3 is your whole number, the 1/4 is your fraction. Go ahead and come up with an example on your own. Who'd like to give me an example? Jamie, what's another example?
1/4.
Not 1/4. We would just say 1 and 1/4. Okay? Questions on mixed number? Good. Improper fraction is a fraction where the numerator is bigger than the denominator. Remember, your numerator is your top number and the denominator is your bottom number. So when your numerator is bigger, this is called an improper fraction. Who can give me another example of an improper fraction? Tyler? 28ths. Perfect. The numerator is bigger than the denominator. Questions on improper fraction? The notes down here, you don't have to write this down, I'm just going to talk about it. You can convert mixed numbers to improper fractions and improper fractions to mixed numbers. They can go back and forth. So anytime I give you a mixed number, so for example, if I take 1 1/4, this is also equal to 5/4. You don't need to know that yet. We're going to learn how to do that. So every mixed number can turn into an improper fraction. Every improper fraction can turn into a mixed number. And in this case, 20/8 equals 2 4/8. Okay, so this is what we're going to learn how to do today. Just know that they can go back and forth. Did everybody get both of these written down?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, you guys all have a worksheet in front of you. Go ahead and look at that worksheet. Your first problem I have up on the board. So there's 3 columns on your worksheet. The first column is improper fractions, the second column is mixed numbers, and then the third column it says picture, and there's like 8 circles in each of them, and then they get smaller when you get down to the bottom. We're going to learn how to convert improper fractions and mixed numbers by drawing pictures first, and then I'm going to teach you how to do it without drawing pictures. So this is what you see on your first row on your worksheet. Before we can start drawing pictures, you guys have to answer 2 questions for me. The first question is, what does the 3 tell you? What does this mean? What does our denominator mean in a fraction? Who can tell me? Your denominator tells you what? How many what? How many pieces make up one whole? So if all of these circles are one whole, how many pieces make up these circles? 3. So the first thing we need to do is we need to take these circles and we need to split them into 3 pieces, because that's what our denominator tells us. So go ahead and do that on your worksheet. Remember, when you do 3, you kind of make a peace sign without the middle one. Second question we need to answer is, what does the 16 tell us? So up here in our numerator we have 16. What does that mean?
How many have you colored?
Very good. That means how many need to be colored in, right? If we had the fraction 1/3, that means I'd have to split the circle into 3 pieces and I'd color in how many? 1. So if I have 16 I need to color in, I'm going to color in 16 pieces. I'm going to use a highlighter, and you guys go ahead and do that on your worksheet. So color in 16 pieces. Does everybody's look pretty close to mine up here? Okay, so now we can look at this picture and we could change this to a mixed number by looking at our picture. How many holes do we have colored in?
4, 5,
We have 1 hole, 2 holes, 3 holes, 4 holes, 5 holes. And then we have what fractional part colored in? 1 what? 1/3. So the improper fraction 16/3 equals 5 1/3 as a mixed number. Does everybody see how that picture works?
Yeah.
Okay, so go ahead and fill that in on your worksheet under mixed number where you don't have anything in that box. Go ahead and put in 5 1/3. And then we're going to do the second one together, and I'm going to have you guys finish it on your own, and I'll have some of you guys come to the board and do them. So the next one, 2 1/4. Is that the one you guys have in your worksheet?
Yeah.
So we need to change this to an improper fraction, but we have 3 different numbers now, so we need to understand what all 3 of those numbers mean. So the first one, what does the 4 tell us? What does our denominator tell us, Jamie?
How many the circle has? Like,
How many parts make up one whole? So we have 4 parts make up one whole. Well, if all of these circles are one whole, how many parts do they need? 4. So go ahead on your worksheet, split all of these wholes into 4 pieces. The next question is we need to know what the 2 means. What does this 2 mean? Who thinks they can tell me? Taylor Day, what do you think? 2 whole ones. Does that mean just 2 little pieces right here?
no,
2 whole circles. Okay, so we're going to shade in 2 whole circles. And then our last one is what does the 1 tell you? What does this mean? Jamie?
How many, like, one part is colored?
Yeah, how many pieces? So we have 1 extra piece that needs to be colored in. So go ahead and shade in 1 extra piece. So does everybody's picture look something like this?
Yeah.
So now to change this to an improper fraction, what does our numerator tell us? How many what? Let's look back at this example. What did this 16 tell us? How many what? How many pieces we need to shade in? So how many pieces did we shade in up here? Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 9 is our numerator. And then what's our denominator tell us again? How many what?
Part.
How many parts make up one whole? Well, how many parts make up one whole? 4. 9/4. Questions on that one? Do you guys think you could do some on your own? All right, you guys go ahead and finish working on it. I'll have... It's ready for you to go to highlighters. So go ahead and color in how many pieces. Okay? Questions so far? All right. I'm going to quickly do the last 2 just so we can move on. All right, let's move on. So to change a mixed number to an improper fraction, there's something called, I like to call it the popcorn method. Some of my students last year called it the cloud method because you actually draw lines that I think it looks like popcorn, okay, or cloud, whatever you want to call it. You don't have to write what's in green down, but we're going to do a bunch of examples together. So this method, it converts mixed numbers to improper fractions. So go ahead and write down this as an example, 2 3/4. And I would write it down nice and big, because this is going to be a really good example, and you're going to have to write some stuff inside the popcorn. So write it down nice and big. All right, we always start at our denominator. So we're going to start right there underneath the 4. And you go clockwise to make your popcorn. Okay, so there's 3 different points you're going to go to. The first one, we started our 4, and we're going to make a little bubble up to the 2, up to your whole number. Inside that bubble, I want you to put a multiplication symbol, because that's what you have to do with the numbers. So we're going to do 4 times 2, which is what? 8. Okay, if you want to write a little 8 down here, you can do that. A lot of these are pretty easy to do in your head. So we have 4 times 2 is 8. And then in your next little bubble, we're going to make it all the way to the 3. And you need to put an addition symbol in there. Because the next part is you add. So we did 4 times 2 is 8. What's 8 plus 3? 11. If you want to put a little 11 up there, you can do that. And then the last part of it, you don't really have to do anything. It goes back to your denominator, and the denominator stays the same. Okay? So over here, I kind of walked through it. We did 4 times 2 equals 8. 8 plus 3 equals 11. So therefore, 11 is your numerator. Denominator stays the same. So 2 3/4 equals 11/4 as an improper fraction. Did everybody see how that worked?
Yeah.
Did you guys get that written down?
Yeah.
Nice and big? Okay. We're going to do one more together, and I'm going to have you guys finish with a couple on your own. All right, let's do one more together. So you always start, go ahead and write this first one down, 3 1/4. So we're going to start at our 4, make your first bubble to the 3, put a little multiplication sign in there. Once you guys memorize this, I'm not going to make you put the symbols in there, but for now, go ahead and do that. So 4 times 3 is what? 12. Make your next bubble. What's 12 plus 1? 13, so that's your numerator. And then your last bubble is your denominator stays the same. 13/4. Okay, so we did 4 times 3 is 12. 12 plus 1 is 13. That's our numerator. Denominator stays the same. You guys can do some of these on your own? Okay, go ahead. Who wants to come to the first one on the board? Wasn't been to the board yet. Jonathan. So make sure you write these down. So how do we do on these?